tell us what your handle is real quick.
So on Instagram, I'm found at Anna Sarol, just my name. So ANNASAROL. And then my Facebook, I guess my Facebook's the same too, Anna Sarol. And then I guess I'm found on YouTube too, and that's my name too. I guess all of them are just my name.
Okay. Good. Yeah. I bet people are really curious about some of the work and the partnerships you do on Instagram, and just like, are you like, how like serious are you taking it? Like, do you think you'll be able to make a living off of doing social media influencing and marketing, or is it just like for fun on the side? Or like, what's that experience been like? Because I know it's sort of like a growing space in the disability community, and there's a lot of companies right now that, like, you know, with this focus on diversity, they've suddenly realized disabled people this, and they found us on social media. And so I'm curious, like, what kind of companies have been reaching out to you, like from the coolest ones to the kind of weirdest, wackiest ones, and just like, what are you going to do with all of this?
Well, let me take you back. So like ever since I was little and growing up, it's such like a rich digital era. I always knew that I wanted to build a presence in the online world. And like even before my disability was a thing, I knew that. But I started blogging about my disability in 2019. That was 4 years after my injury. And so from there, I've consistently showed up ever since my first upload. And I've put a lot of time and care and thought towards each individual upload and post so that it does one of two things, is to either educate or to provide resources. And so as soon as brands reached out and saw like what I was doing with my account and the work that I was doing, it was very exciting, and it made my time and effort, as well as just the love that I get from everyone following me, just worth it. And as this world becomes more inclusive and diverse, like I hope to see more brands prioritizing disability influencers. I mean, I think we're slowly starting to see that, but as everything else, like we could always do better. So as far as the brands that I've worked with, it's kind of a variety when it comes to brands that are found in the disability space already, and you know, like everyday brands. So like, what have I worked with? I worked with a lot of clothing brands when it comes to the brands that are not in the disability space. So like Pretty Little Thing, I've worked with a bunch of others. And then as far as the disability space, it's been like Spinergy, Easy Stand, Adaptify, a bunch of other stuff. So it's cool to see that they're starting to reach out. And I'm even seeing like the other influencers that are on our feeds working with like Google and Amazon, and like that's really cool to see, and that's huge for us to feel so included and like finally being recognized the way that we should have. So it's amazing, like the way that we're getting there, and like how us being in this space does so much for as far as representation and showing our community the possible selves that we have to look forward to. So yeah, like the things that I've seen from social media, I mean, like the way that my friends and family have just watched my account and like the things that I post, like there was this one instance where I was on the floor and I fell, and the certain group of friends, like they didn't know much about like my injury and everything. I mean, they knew me from a lot of other things, and they didn't like offer to like help me back in my chair because they saw that visual of me being able to do it completely independently, and they knew that I could get in my chair by myself. So like little things like that, where we're not only informing the world, but we're showing like our friends and our closest family like how disability impacts our lives and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love your content. Like I always come away, I've found a gift, like, oh, like I've found out something new every time I visit. And I just really like your really practical educational approach where people come and like learn something, or get a tip or a resource, like you said. I think that's just so valuable.
Right.
Really like that approach. I like your style, like you're really clear and visually everything's beautiful. I mean, you're killing it. So
Thank you.
what is your disability?
So I have a T10 complete spinal cord injury. And so I'm a full-time manual wheelchair user.
Got it. Ugh, you're basically able-bodied. I'm a C5, 6 quad.
I see. The funny thing is I say that with like all the people who are an L, and I'm like,
right? Yeah.
They're just sitting. I mean, like, there's nothing like.
I know. It's all about perspective, isn't it?
That's so true.
So T10 spinal cord injury. How long ago did you?
This was in 2015. And so like when I was preparing for this conversation, I just realized it's been almost 7 years coming in August. And I always thought, like, I've been telling people it's been like 5 years, and it's definitely been 6. So like, I mean, it's not like that big of a, like, I guess my mind just doesn't think about it much, which like, as life goes on. Right.
How old were you when you got injured?
So I was 14. And that was, it happened like, 4 days after my freshman year. So it was crazy. And I transferred to this high school. I didn't know anyone. And then I came back as like someone everyone knew because of what happened to me.
Well, since this is, a Spinergy production, I'm curious, when you were first injured, what kind of chair did you get? Did you have Spinergies right off the bat?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I had my loaner chair. I don't think it was Spinergy. I think it was just the most, I don't even know, like low quality kind of wheels that they can get and put on me. Yes. But as the first custom chair that I got, it did have Spinergy. So like that was, I mean, like it's cool to see that I've had this brand from the start, other than that loaner. But yeah.
And did you recognize Spinergy at the beginning, or did you sort of start learning about equipment and it took a while and then
I think it took a bit. I think like probably my year 3 is when I started noticing brands and like the ones that are disability focused. And that's when I started getting in touch with like what everyone recommends, what are their preferences, and which ones are the ones to look out for in the market. And that's when people introduced that part of me, like Spinergy was like top rank. Like, that's the one to get involved with.
And just for everybody watching, just so you know, we've been working with Anna for a year, actually over a year, maybe a year and a half now, partnering on, social media collaborations. And she's got 2 awesome sets of Spinergies, custom designed, and you used the design lab for those, right?
I did. Oh my gosh. The design lab was such a cool feature to like, I mean, even the first time that I went on it, I was like, wow, the fact that I can customize it to this level is like something that I've never seen and didn't even know that was an option for me. So like, that was amazing to see. It's just so important because like, I mean, like in the design lab, I was able to choose like inside spokes, outside spokes, rim color, hub color, the wheel design, and add my personality to them. And as something that's going to be in every photo, every video, like you're going to want them to be the best looking set of wheels in your eyes. So like that was crucial.
Yeah. So you have XLX.
Yes.
And those are kind of like more minimalist, more everyday. And then you have the beefier XSLX. Mm-hmm. So what do you like to use them for different things, right? Or how does that work for you? Is it like wearing a different pair of shoes, like different style, or is it more for like performance for you?
I feel like the design is what really caught my eye. I mean, like, I like how the more simplistic one, I'm able to reach my hand through if something's underneath me and I need to reach through the spokes. So that's really nice because they're so far apart and my full hand can go through. I mean, even with the, is it the X? I keep forgetting the names.
It's confusing.
I know. I was like trying to remember.
It's confusing. I tell the guys at work, I'm like, guys, the names are confusing.
I think it's the fact that they're just letters and like
yeah, a lot of the same letters.
But yeah, the XLX is like, I mean, everyone takes notice of that one.
Well, you've made some really cool videos about Spinergy equipment. And one of our kind of like hottest products right now is the TC push rooms. We have two types of TCs. We have the original TCs and we have the like ergonomic oval shaped TC Max. And you've got both. So
right.
What do you think? Like, what is the difference to you for both of those? Is there one that you prefer more over the other? Just to give people an idea, because it's so hard for us as wheelchair users to figure out what we need when we don't get to try the products. Right. But here you are, one of our partners and influencers, and you're trying them, so you can let people know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so again, like what Danny was saying, I had the privilege of being able to use both the original TC push rims and then also the TC Max push rims. And I absolutely love both. I don't think I'll ever go back to the regular smooth push rims because of how much of a game changer I've experienced with having this equipment. And I'm like the biggest spokesperson when it comes to like anyone that I come across that's a manual wheelchair user. And I'm like, you need to get this in your life because it is an investment that you are going to love. But as far as like comparing the two, I think that I've found the oval TC Max push rims to be more comfortable as far as like grip, as far as my hand positioning and the way that I hold on to my push rims. I find it very comfortable, and regardless of what you choose, I think like you couldn't go wrong either way, but I do like the TC Max the best.
Yeah, that's really interesting to hear. And had you ever used like an oval shaped hand rim before?
No, I've only known the circular ones.
Yeah. So I just heard lately a wheelchair user was telling me, and they were like, set in their ways for 20 years. They'd always used the circular push rims. And they tried the TC Max and they were like, oh, this is actually good.
Yeah.
Because your hand, there's more surface area for your hand to hold on to. And what he said he didn't have to hold it as tight. Like he had big hands. So he was like pinching this tiny little tube. And I think it was causing some pain issues for him. So yeah, it's interesting to hear how like the bigger surface area kind of can help you relieve some tension and like relax your hand a little bit more and get a better push.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that for people who have bigger hands. Like those little circular ones aren't going to cut it sometimes.
I know, right? What about like the grip? People are always asking like, what is it about the grip? Like, is it going to cause friction? Because they see this embossed texture on the TCs. And I think they're like, oh no, friction. When I go down, I'm going to burn my hands. What has your experience been?
I haven't felt any burning sensation when going down hills with these TC push rims. I mean, like, if anything, it's like a tickling sensation with like the tactile control of like the texture of it. But as far as like burning, I mean, even when I leave my chair out in the sun for, X amount of hours, I don't even feel that. So that's always like very, I mean, like you need that. Like, it's something we have seen, and like we've burnt our hands, built so much callus and everything. So
recently you put up a post about traveling. You're on an airplane and you were able to put your wheels in a closet on the plane that was literally right next to your seat.
Right. Yeah.
How often does that happen? Did you just get lucky on this flight? Did you like what?
Yeah. Okay. So like I only fly Southwest, and I know a lot of other wheelchair users only fly Southwest as well. Like that's their preferred airline. And I feel like the newer planes, they're the ones that have those priority disability storage closets. And so that's what Danny was referring to, is this little, probably like maybe a foot wide closet and maybe like 3 feet tall. And that's where I kept my wheels, I kept my cushion, I kept my side guards. And I was telling this to other people who were inquiring about that, but I feel like it's hit or miss with like the airline or with the airplane you get. And because Kansas airport is small, we usually get the smallest plane that's like not the most recent model. But for this one, we did. And that was really cool to see. And the fact, like, I didn't even know that existed. And a lot of people also said that in the comments, like they didn't know that existed, because a lot of people sometimes will store other things there. And so
coat closet.
I know.
It's the coat closet. I had just gotten an argument like a week ago when I was traveling with them. I was like, I'm bringing because they had damaged my chair. And on my second flight, I was like, well, I'm bringing my wheels on board now and I'm putting them in that closet. So take your coats out. Because like, these are my legs and I'm not going to get them damaged too. And they huffed and puffed about it. They did not want to remove their coats. And I'm like, come on, like, it's the least you can do. Like this, we can't, if our mobility is out, like we can't work, we can't go to school. We could get hurt, even like get pressure sores. And I wish they understood, like staff, at least. I wish they understood how serious it is.
Right. Yeah. I know every single airplane that I enter, I'm like, I need to talk to the staff. I need to let them know, like, this is like my independence. This is everything to me. If you break like I talked to the person who's literally loading it on. I'm like, I need you to promise that you're going to try to make sure that my chair gets into me at the end of this trip, like to my final destination.
Yeah.
And like to do your absolute best to protect it with your entire life, because this is not cheap. And this is my life. This is all of our lives.
What is your mission?
My mission. Oh, that's a good question. I think like it all goes back to shifting the perspective of disability, because I feel like there's this gap between what society thinks disability is and what disability actually looks like. And for me to be able to like slowly close that gap so that we have more of an accurate depiction of disability lifestyle for people who don't know what this lifestyle is like. I mean, like then we'll start seeing, like changes with our accessibility and being more inclusive and diverse.
All right, Anna, thank you so much for coming on with us. You guys give Anna a follow. You will not be disappointed. Her content is so engaging and so interesting and resourceful. We love having her on our team. And stay tuned for our next episode. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.